All right, guys. Hello. I'm so excited that you are here. Can you guys hear me okay? See my board okay? Let me know in the chat. And yes, this is actually live. It is Tuesday, July 21st at 11 a.m. Central Time. So excited to spend some time with you guys today. Beautiful. All right. Are you ready to dive on in? Should we do this? Now, I'm going to give you guys a couple of heads ups rather. I am super extroverted. I feed off of energy. So the more energy you guys kick back in the chat, the more I'm going to ramp up, the more excited I get. And you guys are going to get some really, really deep and powerful shifts in your beliefs. You're going to have some huge ahas. Who's stoked about that? And yes, I was doing my makeup on a TikTok live. So Bob knows this is like actually live because he saw the finished product. I like to have fun. I don't take myself too seriously. I don't take anything too seriously, which is not the same as not getting serious work done. So we are going to talk today about how to grow your revenue as a freelancer without working 80 hours plus per week. Can I get an amen in the chat to that? So how to grow your revenue as a freelancer or even as an agency. Who here is a freelancer? Who here is an agency? Let me know in the chat how to grow your revenue as a freelancer without working 80 plus hours per week, because that is exhausting. Beautiful. All right, we're going to talk about several key things that you guys need to know that I've learned along this journey. First and foremost, we have strategy number 1. Okay, I want to make sure I can see all your comments. I can see them. Beautiful. That is how to handle the high ticket mindset. Why everything you've learned about working with clients is totally wrong and setting you up for failure. If you're excited about point 1, comment a 1 in the chat. I love seeing those come on in. You guys have great energy. Thank you, you guys. Somebody had their coffee today. Number 2, we're going to talk about the expert framework. What the experts know that you don't, that allows them to grow their revenue faster. If you're excited about strategy number 2, drop a 2 in the chat. And number 3, this is one that I am extremely passionate about, and you guys will see that passion come in as we dive into this, how to screw hustle and get the results you want without working evenings or weekends. If you're excited about that, drop a 3 in the chat. Yes, you guys are, I'm gonna get heated in that point in a good way because this is something I'm so passionate about. Now, just so you guys know, I will stay here and answer as many questions as we have time for at the end. And I'm going to be giving everyone who attends a bonus at the very end, okay? So I'll let you guys know how that will be delivered to you. Cool? So if you have any questions, feel free to save them until the end. If I were to try to answer all of your questions as we go, we'd be here all day, which would be fun, but my voice will get tired, and I know you guys have some things to do today, right? So make sure you close all distractions. I know it can be tempting to be scrolling through Facebook or TikTok, which is very distracting. Close your distractions, grab a pen and paper, or feel free to type notes on your computer. And if you need to, just be ready to learn. Open up your mindset. Are you guys ready? So before we dive on in, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the backstory. Is that cool? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to give you the backstory to who I am in case anyone doesn't know who I am or why I am qualified to share with you guys what I've learned, because I think that that's a really powerful part of the journey. Okay, so my backstory, don't worry, we'll get through this fast, but you'll understand why this plays into the story. So about 10 years ago, I was a college dropout working part-time as a server. And at 20 years old, almost 21, I found out that I was going to be a single mom. And so all of a sudden, my entire life path was absolutely rocked. I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to provide for a human. Like there's going to be someone relying on me. Meanwhile, I'm, like I said, a college dropout. I don't have any skills, at least not that I know of. And so I have my daughter, her name is Dakota, and we end up living in one bedroom on this house where the whole top floor is all girls and the bottom floor is all guys. And Dakota and I shared one bedroom. Meanwhile, I am on welfare and food stamps and hustling my butt off to make something work. Now, I didn't go back to college to finish up a degree because at that time I was like, I don't see the ability to make that happen. I don't see how this works out. But I did go to school to become a hairdresser, and that was an intense process. But I was so committed. I was like, I will find a way to get out of this current situation. This needs to not be my life story. Has anyone had these moments in their life where you said, hold on, this is not how I saw anything going. This is not my life. This is not how the story ends. And I want to give you guys some encouragement in case anyone has ever felt that. At any point along the journey of life, building a business, making things happen, you have the ability to say, hold up, this is not how the story ends. And so that's what I did in that season of life. Now, I'm not going to say that I suddenly became a hairdresser and was raking in crazy amounts of money, or that I met my husband and he was really rich and all of a sudden everything was solved. He wasn't. He was a broke window washer and I was a struggling startup hairdresser. But one day, in an incredible, some may call it fate or destiny, I like to believe that there's a greater plan working, something magical happened. A client sat in my chair and told me all about the business that they owned. And I started sharing some things that I had learned about Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And before you know it, I secured my first client as a social media manager with no degree, no real experience, and all of a sudden this dream of something that was bigger, that could take over. I went home to my husband after that and I said, babe, I think I found the thing that I love. It is marketing. Let's make this happen. And he said, you know what? I feel like you're right. I think this is it. And so I jumped ship completely from being a hairdresser. I went and applied for jobs at marketing agencies, once again with no experience, got hired in a lead generation, cold emailing marketing agency. Worked there for a few months, making $30,000 a year, which, by the way, you guys, at that point in time, a stable $30,000 is awesome. I will take it. Yes, please. And then I started to kind of tap into some of the things that I'm going to share with you guys here today and started to position myself differently, which we'll talk about in the expert framework. And I went and got a job at a technology company as their marketing director, still with no degree, still with limited experience. And I doubled my salary to $64,000. Now, anyone here recognize that making $64,000 after having been on welfare, on food stamps, sharing one bedroom, giving blood plasma to supplement diaper money, this was life-changing, absolutely, totally different trajectory. So in a short amount of time, it was about a 1-year span, we changed how the future was going to look. Now I'll take you guys to today because this is really crazy to see how much can change. It was back in fall of 2015 that I really started securing clients, and I was securing them while I was in this day job working as a marketing manager. 6 months later, I had fully replaced my income from my 9-to-5, and it was time to leave and go out on my own. Several months later, I replaced my husband's income from his 9-to-5. And in that first year as a social media manager, we made $117,000, still with no degree, still with limited experience, using what I'm going to teach you guys today. But that's not all. That would be great. Who here says $100,000 in a year? Yes, please. That's an amazing, amazing salary, right? For sure. However, and just so you guys know, we will make time for questions at the end. So make sure you save them. I can't answer all the questions as we go, or else we will be here, like I said, all day. So save those and I will answer all your questions. So, that's life changing. But what happens next is crazy. So keep in mind, you guys, I'm a mom of 3. Anyone have kids watching this, by the way? I want to make sure I can see all of your answers. Some of you guys have kids. Awesome. So I have a 9-year-old who's almost 10, a 5-year-old who's almost 6, and a 2-year-old. So I even had a baby during this process of building my business. I've been full-time in this for 4 years. So after I left my 9-to-5, made $117,000 in our first year by myself, so mostly profit, I then went on to reach like a $22,000 to $23,000 month before I started bringing on help. Who here says yes, please to that? It was so life-changing. This was a different life than anything we had ever known. And so I kept on working, kept making things happen. I hired several team members, actually brought my husband into our business, which was really cool, especially considering the fact that he is a high school dropout. By the way, I just looked and I see the number 1111 is the time. That's a good luck number. So my husband comes into the business. He learns how to handle operations, hiring, firing, managing a team. And with a team of 3, we hit $56,000 in a month. What? Insane, right? Can you guys see this contrast? Like, that was so different from the life I knew. And something said like, yes, now you are on the right path. Like, let's make this happen. And we still actually run this agency. We work directly one-on-one with clients, and our record month is $86,000 in a single month, which is very, very powerful. And we run a very profitable business. Okay, so now, like I said, I will answer you guys all the questions that you have, but I am curious, where are you guys at with clients? Drop a 1 if you're brand new with no clients yet. I want to see kind of where everybody's at. Drop a 2 if you have 1 to 3 clients currently. And if you have 3+ clients, go ahead and drop a 3 in the chat. Awesome. Now, in our agency, we have gone on to work with quite a few brands that I'm sure some of you guys have heard of. We've had an incredible run as an agency working one-on-one with clients. We've worked with companies, if you've heard of any of these, say yes in the comments. We've worked with companies like Mig Soap. We've worked with ClickFunnels, Lionsgate, Code Red, Relationship Breakthrough. If you've heard of any of these, let me know in the chat, and a ton of other amazing companies. But most important, you guys ready for this? Most important are the dreams that we were able to realize, that this massive shift in our life trajectory opened up. For example, we paid off over $100,000 in personal debt. Insane. Who here wants to see that in their life happen? And I get kind of serious. I get a little emotional still when I talk about this, and I'm sorry. I know that that's not like professional to get emotional on a training, but I don't believe that we as humans can truly compartmentalize who we are as humans from our professionalism. Number 2, we got our dream house. Number 3, we hired my mother and father-in-law full-time to work in not in our businesses, but in our homes, and provided them with stable jobs. And we were able to give them a car when their car's heat went out in the middle of a Minnesota winter. I love them so much. And during the middle of a pandemic, we did not have to lay off a single person. We kept our team going strong. We were able to support the families relying on us. And so that is the kind of impact that was so important to me. Who here wants that kind of impact and growth in their life? To be able to become a cornerstone in your family and in your community. You guys, I'm not like a lot of the other gurus. I really mean these things when I say them. And like I said, I do get emotional because it's so important to realize that it's never just about the money. It's about the impact that you can make with the money. Can I get an amen in the chat? Okay, now, my results are not guaranteed, okay? You guys may see less results, better results, the same results. I want you all to know, like, write this down for real. Anyone who promises that something is easy, that something is going to make you get rich quick, that it's a simple, painless 1-2 step process, those people are lying to you to make a quick buck, okay? I am here to tell you, this is going to be hard work. And if you don't want to do hard work and make your dreams happen, you may want to go right now. Okay, I am not promising you will get rich quick. I am not promising this is going to be easy, but I am going to tell you that if you continue to show up it will be worth it. Cool? Everyone agree? Let me know in the chat. Awesome. All right. The other thing is I really live by this philosophy that if you're willing to do the work that others aren't willing to now, you can live a life that others can only dream of in the future. So let's dive on into strategy number 1, which is the high ticket mindset. Why everything you've learned about working with clients is totally wrong, and as crazy as it is, setting you up for failure. Now, I am curious, does anyone work with a client where you charge hourly? Let me know in the comments. Or you charge $500 per month or less to clients? Let me know in the comments. So a lot of times, the strategy that people follow is charge what you can. I mean, how are we supposed to compete with the cheap services on Fiverr? How are we supposed to charge great prices when people on Upwork offer services for less? Or even the pitches going into our clients' inboxes all the time, offering them the same services we offer for less, right? So people subscribe to this methodology, charge what you can. And some of you guys have experienced this, right? Oh yeah, for sure. Now, this model of charging what you can, which can include charging hourly, charging $300 per month, charging $500 per month, this is broken. And we want to banish it, okay? What are we gonna do with it, guys? We're gonna say it in the comments, banish it. This is the broken model. Charge what you can is not a sustainable business model. We are not trying to be the Walmarts of the world or the Aldi, if you know what Aldi is. Now, what's crazy is when I first started, I remember like doing some of the calculations, and you know, I was making, for example, my very first client, ooh, we're gonna switch markers early on. My very first client was paying me $15 per hour. And so what that means is that every single paycheck was anywhere from $75 to $150 every 2 weeks. That is not enough to make ends meet. $15 is not enough to raise a family, to pay for childcare, to even like get a house, let alone pay off debt. So what was crazy is then when I started charging clients $300 to $500 per month, I did some basic calculations. And I realized that in order to make $10,000 per month, this was in the very, very beginning, I would need, ready for this? 25 to 36 clients to make $10,000 per month. 25 to 36 clients? Who here thinks that sounds like a ton of work? Oh my gosh, right? This ends up being like less than minimum wage, actually, to be honest. That's because it is a ton of work. That doesn't work, you guys, and it creates a never-ending cycle. So you start with a client that's $500 per month, and you take on quite a few clients, and now you're exhausted, and you're working around the clock, and you're realizing this is not going to happen. So your work starts to suffer, you lose a few clients, you question your abilities, and then you lower your prices so that you can attract new clients, because you're like, well, shoot, I just lost all of my $500 per month clients. And then the cycle goes on and on. Now it's even worse, because now when you start the cycle, you're at 300. And then you start to wonder, well, should I just start offering services for $100 per month? I mean, gosh, this isn't working. Does this sound familiar to anyone at all? It's an intense and vicious cycle, and it creates a decline in the standard of the work that we provide for clients. Like I said, my first client was paying me $15 per hour. I was working around the clock, testing and trying, but they only counted the time spent on actual performance. So I'm making $75 to $150 every 2 weeks. And if I secured more clients at $15 per hour, what? I'd be capped out at $30,000 per year. $30,000 per year? That's great if you're looking for a sustainable income. But I want life life-changing results, right? You don't have life-changing results at $15 per hour. And here is a huge spoiler alert for anyone who feels guilt about stepping into this high-ticket mindset. You are actually doing clients a disservice by undercharging because of this very cycle. Who here gives their clients better results when they're energized, excited, rested, confident, when you have time to research and study and play and your needs are met? Every single one of us, I want to say like every single person say yes in the chat. By running this same cycle over and over and over again, you are actually doing your clients a disservice. When you raise your rates to higher ticket prices, it changes the game for everyone, including for your clients and the results that you can bring to them. So we're going to cross out that whole model, right? Everyone cross it out on your notes. And we're going to replace it with something totally different, which is the high ticket mindset. By charging what I am worth, I can give my clients the results that they deserve. Got it? Tattoo it on your forehead. Put it by your computer. By charging what I am worth, I can give my clients the results that they deserve. So we're going to create a brand new minimum. And that is $1,000 per month, bare minimum. And then to hit a $10,000 month, if that's the bare minimum, that's just 10 clients. Who here says that feels a lot more doable? Just by simply saying, I will not accept less than this. Who here says 10 clients at $1,000 per month, that actually feels doable? Totally can happen, right? But really, as your confidence grows, you're going to start charging $2,000, $2,500 per month, $3,500 per month. And you may think there's no way that that's possible, but let me tell you, every single month I send out proposals to clients for $5,500 to $12,500 per month, per client, and they're accepted. So our workload is manageable, our profit margins are intact, and we are able to give your clients better results. If you guys want this, say yes. And what's powerful about this is you only need 3 to 5 clients as your confidence grows and you start charging real high ticket pricing to hit a 10K month. Who here says, Rachel, this is actually different. This is something that actually is sustainable. I can grow without burning out, without being exhausted, without that constant cycle. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? For sure. Now, I'm going to share with you guys a story of Kaylin. Kaylin is amazing. Some of you guys have the pleasure of knowing her. She was charging her clients $300 to $400 per month before I began working with her. And she said, like, Rachel, I keep capping out at $3,000 to $4,000 per month. Like, that's the max that I can hit. And she's working way too many hours per week. We did the calculations, and once I showed her this, you're going to have to work with 25 to 36 clients in order to just hit a 10K month. She freaked out and realized this isn't going to work. Like, there's no way. She says, I'm already feeling tired. Now she is working less, and she hit a 7K month with ease. Can I get an amen to that in the chat? Like, it's so exciting. Mary is another example. She was charging $500 to $750 per month. Now she sends out a $1,500 to $2,500 proposal almost every single week without thinking twice of it. These people are rock stars who did the work. Okay, if you learned something or had an aha or a breakthrough or golden nugget, drop a yes in the chat. I want to make sure you guys are experiencing some awesome and powerful breakthroughs that will last. All right, we're going to dive on into strategy 2 once I see your yeses dropping in the chat. And by the way, I'm going to have to give you guys the record for the coolest audience ever for not disappearing when suddenly the internet shuts everything down. That was really scary for a second there. But I'm glad we were able to reconnect. All right, strategy number 2. Okay, this is so Powerful. This is the expert framework. What the experts know that you don't, that allows them to grow their revenue faster. Who here says, I wish I were an expert? I would charge those prices if I were an expert now, today. Or maybe that's easy for you, Rachel. You're an expert. People know who you are. Well, I'm going to tell you guys a story because so many of us think that expert is some crazy lofty goal. Like we can charge what we're worth once we've earned this legendary expert status where everyone's like, oh, look at that expert, like walk around, right? So the expert framework. Now, this is going to be a story that makes you laugh. I told you guys I'd like to have fun and I'm high energy. We're going to find out if you guys like to laugh. So when this first client sits down in my chair, and I am a hairstylist, a college dropout, and like my expertise is giving really, really good highlights that look amazing and grow out really well. This business owner sits in my chair and she tells me, she looks at me straight-faced and says, Rachel, show me your tweeter. Sorry, what? I said, we don't do that at this salon. And I got all freaked out. It turns out, you guys, she needed help with Twitter. And she was super confused about what it was or what the terminology was. And in this moment, she says, oh, I'm so lost about social media. Do you think you can help me? And all of the thoughts that you might be experiencing right now are going through my head. I'm panicking. I'm like, I'm not an expert. I don't have a degree in marketing. I don't feel like I can help anyone. And suddenly it was like this crazy cool moment of clarity happened. I realized that if I didn't help this woman, she was going to walk around asking people to show her their tweeter. If I didn't step up and help her, you guys, she might see something that she does not want to see. And it was in that moment that suddenly I realized, oh my gosh, I may not be an expert in all of marketing, but I can be an expert to her. In her eyes, I can guide her and support her. So what if I told you guys that today you are an expert to someone else? Now, here's the crazy thing. Some people get degrees in marketing. Some people rely on their resume and their career and climbing the corporate ladder. But what's crazy about that is it's really set a lot of us up for failure. And I'm going to share with you guys how I know this. I have so many friends with bachelor's and master's in marketing. And what is so crazy is that they don't even know how to run social media or set up an effective digital marketing strategy. And here is why. Because colleges can't even keep up with the changes and how fast they're happening in social media. So even the experts in marketing, or so-called, they struggle to find jobs because they don't actually have expert level skills for the companies that are hiring. So you do not need a degree in order to be considered an expert. I'm not bashing degrees. I think that they're very helpful for people who learn best in that environment. But that is absolutely not a requirement in order to become an expert. And if you agree, I want to see you guys comment below in the chat. All right, I'm going to take a big old sip. I want to challenge one thing. Someone said they don't need a degree or they don't need to do SM because they're already rich. Assuming that someone who has a bachelor's degree or a master's is already rich is not even close to true. And here's why. How much does it cost to get a bachelor's? How much does it cost to get a master's? Who here knows people with more student loan debt than a house? Anyone know someone like that? People with more student loan debt than they can even handle. They can't even make their minimum payments. Believe it or not, but college is not a surefire ticket to being rich and successful. It's crazy, right? So I'm going to tell you guys one huge and powerful thing. So many of these people that I know who went to school for marketing, they are literally making ends meet with little jobs. Oh, I'm just going to work at the boutique to make sure that I can pay for my college loans. I'm working on putting my resume together. I'm doing free internships and all of my loans are in, default. Now I'm going to give you guys a different analogy, and this is the analogy of servers versus sommeliers. It's actually funny that I use this analogy because I am like stone cold sober and have been, I think I'm going to spell this wrong, but we're just going to go with it, okay? I think that that's right. It's pretty darn spot on. I'm stone cold sober and have been for over 5 years, but we're going to talk about servers and sommeliers. So basically, a server at a restaurant, anyone ever eat at a restaurant before? Let me know in the chat. The server walks up to you and they say, what do you want to drink? And then you tell them, or if you say, I want a glass of white wine, they're going to drop down the list. I've also been a server too, by the way. They're going to drop down the list and say, here's our wine selection. Here are the white wines. And then you pick from the list, right? Now, a sommelier is a master. It's an expert in wine. And it's because they do not hand you the list and say, what do you want? Instead, they say, what are you ordering for dinner tonight? And then they make suggestions. Okay, you're having the sea bass. I would recommend pairing that with this Pinot Grigio from this, vineyard in Napa. And they make these expert level suggestions and pairings. By being a sommelier in your field, doesn't mean you know everything about every single platform or every single strategy, but rather it means that you follow a different way of showing up as an expert. So, do you guys all commit to not being servers so that you can position yourself in the expert framework? Who here commits? You're not going to be servers, you're going to be sommeliers. And here is how we do that. There are 5 steps. First and foremost, positioning. You are going to position yourself as an expert. There's a TV show on Netflix with Zac Efron. I can't remember what it's called, but he goes and travels the world and learns a whole bunch. Did you know that there's water sommeliers? People who tell you, yes, down to earth. Thank you, you guys. There are literally water sommeliers who tell you what water tastes like. How would we even know if they're different? I love that Anna Kendrick shows up on the episode and she says, I think you have a made-up job. I'm going to be honest. But at the same time, sommeliers, water sommeliers, they have positioned themselves appropriately, right? It is about positioning yourself as an expert. That is the very first step. Got it? I hope you guys are taking notes, by the way. I talk fast. I always have, and probably always will. Number 2, we are going to assess our clients' needs by asking expert level questions. A server is going to say, what do you like? A sommelier is going to say, what is your goal? What are you ordering? What kind of flavor profiles have you liked in the past? They're going to ask better questions so you can assess by asking better quality questions. Okay, number 3, you're going to diagnose. This is what you are realizing. This person needs help with Facebook or YouTube. Their goals are X, Y, and Z. I'm going to step back. I'm going to diagnose. You would never go to a doctor and be like, yeah, I want some Vicodin. Or at least they do sometimes in movies, but you'd never be like, I want some Vicodin. You're going to tell the doctor about your pain symptoms, right? You don't go to a doctor and order what you want. You're going to diagnose your clients like a doctor. Number 4, you are going to recommend. So you make the diagnosis, that is your internal process. And then you are going to recommend. Here is what I recommend for you. Because you said X, Y, and Z, I recommend X, Y, and Z. And that is external, in communication. And number 5, you're going to charge like an expert. Got it? Because this process alone is different than a low-ticket social media manager or anyone who works with clients, to be honest. You're going to charge like an expert. And then, I don't even need to write this step down, but you're gonna never stop learning from masters at their craft, okay? Never stop learning from masters at their craft. When you see a master at work and you see and you believe, start learning from that person. Now, I wanna highlight a few people that are amazing and powerful. By the way, who here has had an aha in strategy number 2? With the servers, the sommeliers, the 5 steps. Let me know if you've had an aha or a breakthrough or even all together so far today. Awesome. I want to make sure you guys get some serious value today. That's how I show up. That's how I'll always show up. All right, Krista is someone who's amazing. She fully stepped into her belief of herself as an expert in copy, and she just secured, ready for this, an $18,000 per month client. $18,000 per month. One client, $18,000 per month. I've known Krista and worked with her for 3 years, and I can tell you, I remember when she used to charge way less than that, and seeing her step fully into the belief of herself as an expert has been such a beautiful process. She's utilized the expert framework. She does it incredibly well through practice and repetition, and she secured an $18,000 per month client. Megan remembered her expertise when crafting a proposal this week. She looked at her usual package, added 1,000 to it, sent it over, and got an immediate yes. Who here wants these kind of results, right? So powerful. Awesome. All right, we're going to dive on into strategy 3. I'm so glad you guys are here. Aren't you guys glad the internet didn't cut out all the way? Like, we get to hang out, we get to learn. I hope you guys are taking tons of notes. We're going to dive on into strategy 3. Let's do this. And this one is one that I get very, very, very passionate about. How to screw hustle, and those are strong words intentionally, those are strong, strong words, and get the results you want without working evenings or weekends. Has anyone here ever heard a guru or an influencer practically screaming, hustle harder? If you don't have the life you want, it's because you're not hustling hard enough. It's almost like I've heard people say like there's hustle shaming. And I every time I hear the word hustle, like even though I know it originally has a great meaning, I feel like we're all being hustle shamed all the time. Oh, you don't like your life? You're not hustling. Oh, you have a bad relationship? You're not hustling. Oh, it's just like nonstop. I am not a fan of this hustle mentality, which is not the same as not working hard. But hustle is another level of kind of almost like toxic belief, if that makes sense. In fact, one huge influencer that I guarantee all of you have heard of once said at a private event that I was invited to that he doesn't see his kids Monday through Friday. That's the deal that him and his family have made because of his commitment to his hustle. Now, if that's the decision you want to make, I'm actually not even going to shame that. That is not the model that I personally believe in. That is not something that I believe. It makes me actually very, very sad. I spend a lot of time with my husband. I spend a lot of time with my kids. They're very important to me in this season. And if you're like, I don't want that, okay, maybe, you know what, go ahead and leave, because I will not ever preach or teach hustle over your family. We don't forget what we are doing these things for. And you guys can probably tell I get so passionate about that because I believed that toxic hustle culture for a season in my business, and it led to burnout, and it led to us looking at like our life and being like, are we happy? Is this working? And I almost wanted to like quit and stop, even though we were making a lot of money. It was constant. It's all around us. You're not good enough. If you don't have the results you don't want, it's because, or if you don't have the results you want, it's because you're not hustling. And one day I finally was like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm done with this toxic mentality. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch things up. And I'm here to tell you guys today that even though our business does several million per year now, I still spend evenings and weekends with my family. Sometimes I'll take a Friday off. Yes, there are times where I work very, very, very hard, but I do not believe that that is absolutely necessary all the time, okay? Everyone, if you guys like this, is that cool? I know that that's not popular for me to say, but I believe in it so passionately. Now, if you don't have right now in this season kids or a partner or whatever, if your life looks different than mine, feel free to hustle if that is what makes sense for you. Oh my gosh, if I was in my 20s with no kids and no husband, I would probably hustle for a season, but at the same time, it can lead to burnout very, very, very intensely. So I know that for me, I decided that if having success, we're going to screw hustle. Yes. If having success requires me to sacrifice my husband and my kids or my sanity, it's a hard pass. That is what I've committed to. Now, my first year as a social media manager, I made 117K, but I was listening to those gurus who were preaching hustle. I was working way too much. Some of you guys actually remember that time, right? Some of you guys were there. You saw how hard I worked, yet it didn't feel like I was getting exponential growth. But here's the crazy mindset shift. Are you guys ready for it? Let me know in the chat. I know that we've been going and it's intense and it's fast. Are you guys ready? If working more is how you make more, then let's just pretend I worked 40 hours per week to make 117,000. Let's pretend. I wish that were the case. That first year I worked way too much and didn't realize how much I could get done in 40 hours. So let's pretend that I worked 40 hours a week to make 117K. So if that is the model, if working more is how you make more, then in order to make $1 million per year, you would only need to work about 340 hours per week. Did anyone like gasp or laugh out loud? 340 hours per week. That's all. That's all you have to do. $1 million a year, right? I actually don't even think there's that many hours in a week, right? I'm not a mathematician, but that what? Like, hold on. And to make, oh, we're gonna have some fun here. To make 10 million a year, you would only have to work 3,400 hours per week. Yet, millionaires exist, 10 millionaires exist, 100 millionaires exist, billionaires exist, multi-billionaires, there's almost a trillionaire. You guys can't tell me that they're working 3,400 plus hours per week, right? So is there something different about the way that they're working? Do you guys like that only? Literally, ain't nobody got time for that. That's not gonna work. So what you guys need to do is reject this false belief. This is not true. This is the lie that tells us that time equals money. This is a lie. So let's put lie just to make sure no one gets it twisted. Time equals money. Do you know why this belief is actually toxic? Time equals money is what allows people to constantly pay you hourly so that you never are able to scale past what reasonable results you could get with your time. Let me say this again. Time does not equal money. Because if time equals money, then all of us should be hourly and every single one of us is going to hit a cap. I love that Stefan said that. You can't buy time. You cannot buy time. Time does not equal money. And if we think that time equals money, it's very difficult for us to wrap our minds around the ability to scale to 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures. Got it? Instead, money follows value. Money follows value. This is the true belief that you guys may, if you want, adopt. Money follows value. So let's pretend I start working with a client. And in the beginning of this job, it takes me 10 hours per week to work for this particular client. So I'm working 10 hours per week. We'll do 10 hours per week. I'm charging this client $2,500 per month. And over time, I get better at my job because I've learned, I've discovered their particular goals. I make things happen. And then suddenly it's taking me 5 hours per week. What should my price now be? The same, $2,500 per month. Because money follows value. Time is not money. The time that you put in is not what determines your ability to charge high ticket pricing. And that is why hustling alone is not going to get you where you want to go. Who here learned something here already? Money follows value. Now, what I do instead is I teach and I preach and I scream it. A business by design. That is similar to a life by design. It's built around your life by design. It's built around your priorities, your goals. Your business should be built to serve you and your family. And yes, you will also serve clients as you build this business too. But your business is meant to serve you and your family. It is not meant to be something that you have to sacrifice your family for. Okay, so who here has gotten an aha, a golden nugget, learned something new in either strategy 3, strategy 2, strategy 1? Is this intense? Having radical mind shifts in your beliefs? Crazy, huge aha moment, all of it. Yes, 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 yes. Now, Kelly, love Kelly. Anyone who knows Kelly loves Kelly. Kelly built a business by design. She works 30 hours per week because her priority is her family first. I gotta drink some water because my throat always gets sore because I talk too loud during these. Kelly built a business working 30 hours per week. And last month she made $17,000 from clients. Who here wants to see that kind of result in their life and in their business? That is what happens when you shift from the hustle mentality into a business by design mentality. We all love Kelly, she's amazing. Mallory works 40 hours per week, 50 if she's just bored. And last month she made $12,000. Who here wants a piece of that? So we must break down the belief that hustle more equals make more. Whew. We've covered a lot. Anyone feel anxious, excited, overwhelmed, like your mind is blown? How are you guys feeling? Anxious, overwhelmed, all of the above. Awesome. Great, great value. Sounds great. Myths broken. I love this. Mind blown. Awesome. Excited and anxious, motivated. Bring it on. There is so much more that I want to cover and support you guys with. I love teaching. I love sharing with people what is actually working. Is it okay with you guys if I give you a next step for those of you who are ready for that next step? Let me know in the comments if that's okay. I know some of you guys are like, please do. Please do. Now what? All right. So I'm going to sit on my fuzzy chair. You guys will like this. It's just one of those like throws from Target. And I just throw it over my chair to make it look all fancy. Okay, can you guys see me okay? Yes, perfect. Awesome. Okay, so obviously we covered a lot and I totally understand some of you guys are feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't, now what? Now, all of the people and stories that I've shared on this training live today, they all went through the same program, and that program is the Social Click. We've actually unblocked some time on my calendar for one-on-one calls with people directly. If you want to learn from someone who has a track record, if you agree with what we've shared today, if that feels aligned with your business, you can set up a one-on-one call directly with me and we can discuss what that next step might look like for you and for your business. I'm going to drop the link in the chat and I will stay you guys for questions. So just know, and then I also have a bonus for everyone who stays and who attended live. So we've unblocked that time on my calendar for you guys for one-on-one calls with me directly. Go to Apply for Click, C-L-I-Q-U-E. I will drop that in the chat for you guys. And you can book your call. Yes, they're actually with me. Now, if you're looking to achieve strategy 1, which is the high ticket mindset, book your call. I would love to connect with you. And my promise to you is that I will make sure whatever I recommend is the next best step for you. If you're looking to implement the expert formula, book a call. I would love to connect with you and support you on that journey. And if you want to screw hustle once and for all, book a call. Apply for click.com. I know some of you guys are ready for that next step. The Social Click is the program that every single one of the people who was shared in these stories today, that they are a part of. They're actually all currently in it. It's where I show up every single day for my students. I show up, I bring the fire even as much as I brought today. And it's where I can guide you in building a business by design that serves you, serves your life, serves your family. Oh, and Olga's here. Yay! Olga says, love being in Click, best decision ever. So great. And I'm actually there at least 3 times a week, if not 5, sometimes even 7, right, Olga? I'm not a post and ghost disappear kind of person. I'm there supporting you guys. Faith is a part of the Click too. She says Click is amazing. So I know for some of you guys, this is going to be the right next step. And if you're uncertain, book a call. Let's connect. I want to support you. I want you to see these big results in your business. I want to see you have growth. And I don't want you to end up succumbing to the pressure that hustle is how you build a business. No way, Jose. Oh my gosh, so many people are here posting ghosts. Isn't that awesome, Joy? Kathy says, I've been in the Social Click for 7 months and it is so worth it. Oh, we all love Kathy. We love Faith. We love Olga. We love Lloyd. I've learned just as much and more in my 7 months than years as a business management consultant. That's pretty crazy. I didn't even have to pay her to say that. Sorry, I like to make jokes a lot. So I didn't even have to pay her to say that. Lloyd says that my business and my mindset have grown a lot from being in the Click. Megan says the Click is a game changer for your life and your business. So if you're on the fence, let's just book the call. Let's connect. I'm not someone that does anything like high pressure or crazy or intense or anything like that. Let's just see if we can figure out the best next step for you. All right, I promised you guys that I would answer questions, and I know you guys probably have some because this was intense. Go ahead and before we open up the Q&A, I see those coming in, but go ahead and drop in the chat, what is your biggest takeaway from today? What are you excited to learn? What was an aha that's going to stick with you forever that you wrote down and starred a bunch of times? What is it that you have learned? Okay, let's go ahead and ask or answer some questions. Go ahead and drop your biggest takeaways in the chat, you guys. Olga says, so much value, lots of Rachel and all the superstars who are achieving great results and pulling you forward. I love this. Laura says, my services is personal training, so I charge per hour, like I guess every trainer I know. How to break this? I cannot charge $500 per hour. They will look for my competitor or other trainers. Would you pay $500? Good question. I would find a way. Right now is the perfect time to find a model that works differently. For example, a lot of your people are looking for training without leaving the comfort of their home, right, Laura? For sure. So even just by making a subtle switch in your business, this isn't right for everyone's business, but making a subtle switch from one-on-one training to group training, it can change the dollars per hour because now it's infinitely scalable. So you can lead coaching classes online and you can have like a higher ticket program where people pay, let's say $50 and you get 10 people on and you're going to be connecting with them directly. They set up their webcam and you do a Zoom class. That would be so powerful. Now you can get 10 people at $50 and everyone feels like they're getting a good deal. They're connecting. There's energy from everyone. You're going to give them guidance as they're working out. And then you can make $500 per hour. Great question. Lindsay says, who are the demographics of clients you are sending these to? Because I get price objections around the $500 to $800 mark, but it could be that I'm marketing to the wrong people. Here are some huge hints. Number one, the verbiage I use is established small businesses. Established small businesses. I will not work with startups. I usually do not work with solopreneurs. Most of my clients make at least $300,000 per year, if not $500,000 or even millions per year. And you may think, oh, but there's not a lot of those clients. Not even close to true. Let's actually look at the demographics. Demographics or let's look this up while we're here live. Number of businesses making 1 million per year. Okay, are you guys ready for this? This is just 2016, so it's grown since then. There were 36,000 companies making 1 million to 2.49 million in revenue in 2016. So it's grown since then. There are so many companies. I can't serve 36,000 of them, that's for sure. So it's just kind of start to shift who you want to serve. And if you need support with that, feel free to book a call. We can connect and talk about it and really take you to the next level. Good question from Daphne. Is this US only? The registration form is asking for a US number. It should say or Skype ID. Let me just double check to make sure. It looks like it says phone number. If in the US, feel free to put your Skype handle right there. So go ahead and drop that in. I think that should work. And if it doesn't work, make up a number, and then in where is your business currently at, drop your Skype ID. That'll work perfectly. Okay, Sophia says, takeaways, stop hustling. You guys have some great takeaways. Samantha says, by charging what I'm worth, I can give my clients the results that they deserve. You guys have so many good takeaways. This is awesome. Buddy to Learn says, I have an English training business, how to charge parents more. Well, there's several different ways to do it. There is either more one-on-one programs, but in your industry, you may need to do more of that group program model, like I talked with Laura about earlier with fitness. So move into more of a group model and then charge more for your one-on-one services. I love seeing these, you guys. Steven says, what is in your package? I have a bunch of different packages. I have everything from just organic social media, just Facebook ads, the full marketing ecosystem, which includes funnels, Facebook ads, email sequences, copy, etc. And most of the time we work with clients on an equity basis. So that's the model we've been moving into slowly, and I've been loving it. It's more of a Shark Tank model, and it's a longer term growth strategy, which is so fun. All right, go ahead and ask all of your questions. Joy says, I'm 58 and was permanently furloughed from the job that I've done since 1981. Is it doable for someone like me? If you have a can-do attitude, a willingness to learn, an ability to handle breaking through a comfort zone, because I will tell you, it's going to be uncomfortable at times as you step into a new skill set. But is it possible? Is it doable? Absolutely, yes. We have a bunch of people in the clique who are over the age of 50, and they are consistent. They are rock stars. It is totally doable. This is not just for spring chickens. But I know that people over 50 actually are sometimes the sassiest of all. You guys have a lot of energy, surprisingly. So Joy, totally works. Totally works for you. Liz says, is the click for those who are brand new to social media marketing? Never done it before. Great question. So Holly is an amazing example of someone who had never had a client before, working in her 9-to-5. And within, I think it was less than a month, she secured her first client and is already started working on securing her second client. I really see her doing 5,000 to 10,000 pretty soon here, which is awesome. And she just kept plugging away until it happened. Beth says, I've had a mind block and ceiling and I'm ready to break it. Let's do it, Beth. Totally. I love seeing all your takeaways, you guys. Keep on going. Love this. Love this. Mike says, question, I'm a marketer. How do you stand out above the noise? How do you overcome the thinking that I'm not an expert like and so? Average client doesn't want to pay above $400 per month. Am I targeting the wrong people? How do I become an expert and find the right clients who will pay me more than $1K per month? Go back through this training on replay. Take notes at every single step. Every single one of the strategies that I shared are going to support you, but especially strategy 2. And that is the expert formula. Number 1, it starts with your positioning, how you show up. If you use small bait, you're going to secure small fish. In order to catch a shark, you have to use bigger bait, right? Or a halibut or whatever. Then if you're trying to catch a panfish, with a panfish, you're going to use a night crawler. So if you're only securing leads that are smaller businesses with no budgets, you may be using the wrong bait. It's time to up-level your bait to bring in more qualified, established businesses. This is so great, you guys. Ruan says, when do you scale day from 1,000 to 2,000? Ruan, I want more clarification on this. Are you asking when you can charge or go from charging $1,000 per month to $2,000 per month? Let me know. Okay. Let's see. We've got Shartana, do you use a layout program for creating posts for clients when you are curating content? Sometimes I do. I really like several programs for that. I like Metricool because that houses all of the social media platforms. The only exception is it doesn't direct post to Instagram. So I use Later for that. That's great for scheduling your posts for Instagram. I know Planoly, I'm probably saying that wrong, but Planoly is great for seeing a visual feed in Instagram, and that's great. So I like Metricool. I've used Content Cal for content approvals, although I steer away from content approvals. Lindsay says, you only work with large companies if they're paying $1,000 per month. Large companies that I work with, I charge them not necessarily more, but I'm going to charge more for less deliverables. We're going to focus more on strategy and building out a strategy that their team can implement. So for example, some of the big clients I've worked with, they charge, I charge them $25,000 to $35,000 for a 3-month strategy. Samantha says, quick question, how many platforms are we doing for 1K per month? In the beginning, it's going to be a lot less than you'd think. 1 to 3 platforms for $1,000 per month. As you grow in your confidence, you can start charging $1,000 per month per client per platform. So awesome. Got to keep drinking some water. Linda says, I don't understand how you justify charging that much a month if you aren't a real expert or don't have much experience. Can you explain? Great question. So $1,000 per month isn't actually that much. And in fact, a lot of times the marketing experts that people will hire full-time in their business for $30,000 to $60,000 per year, they don't have any real world experience and they feel lost when it comes to the skill sets. But if you've made up your mind to really serve your clients as a sommelier, you can deliver them exactly what they need at a fraction of the price of a full-time employee. But there is a second part to it. And that is why step 6, the one that we didn't write in the expert framework, is without a doubt, you have to be committed to continually learning from experts. Hey guys, I know I can see in the chat, it says like there's the Q&A box. Do you guys see that? There's 12 questions there. If you ask your question in the Q&A box, can you guys drop it in the chat so I don't miss it? All right, I love seeing you guys that have these like breakthroughs. This has been so cool. Who's enjoying today? Sophia says, how to charge more if you're just a newbie. I'm a newbie website designer. I don't have a niche yet. You actually don't have to necessarily niche. I believe that niches sometimes find you, but they're not right for everyone. So for example, I've been tempted to niche at times, but instead I follow my bliss, I follow my passion, and I go and work with the industries that I absolutely love. You can charge more simply because websites are not meant to be cheap. And sometimes just the act of positioning your pricing higher, it's going to attract better clients and people are going to trust you more. For example, I would never hire someone for a website project of $500. I wouldn't trust them. I'd be so scared they'd run with my website. Now, would I hire someone at $3,000, $5,000, $10,000? Yeah, absolutely. Because as an expert myself, that's what I expect an expert with confidence who's going to deliver is going to charge. Love these, you guys. All right. Steven says, do you have books to recommend? Oh, yes, I have books to recommend. And then I forgot to share with you guys the bonus. So in the next couple days, we're going to send out the bonus. If you're excited about this, let me know. We're going to give you guys 2020 vision planning. And even though it's halfway through the year, I feel like it's the perfect time for you guys to implement this. This is an entire workshop where I walk you through how to really envision what you want for your life and to make sure that you're on track to hit it. So that will be helpful. It's an awesome workshop. And so I will send that your guys' way totally free as a bonus just for being here. Cool? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Several books I recommend. I've got so many books I like. One thing that I like is for mindset is Think and Grow Rich. That's a great book for mindset. I like Expert Secrets for understanding a lot of avenues of marketing by Russell Brunson. I like The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy for learning copy. I like Magnetic Marketing by Dan Kennedy for understanding the ecosystem of marketing. I could go on and on and on and on. I have very extensive book list. I read usually 1 book a week minimum, usually more like 2 to 3 a week. Chloe says, I feel like I need help with narrowing down my field of expertise to find what brings me true happiness in my business and what role I should take on. Does Click help with this? Yes, it definitely does. In fact, we have a meeting coming up soon where I'm going to be breaking down how to discover and follow your bliss. It's going to be so fun. Lindsay says, do you only do monthly retainer or do you also do project work when you're sending these big estimates? I personally do strategy project work. So it's like, here's your marketing book for the next 3, 6, 12 months. So I do have those projects. I usually work with clients on monthly retainers. That's my preferred way. But I know people like Faith, who's a part of the Click, Kitty and Leonard, Krista, Mallory, they all do a lot of project work. Brandon, all those people do a lot of project-based work with clients. All right, next question. Does your program educate your clients on IGN programs that they may not know well? Well, I don't actually work on educating my clients at all. The clients I work with one-on-one with done-for-you services, instead, I am going to just guide them. They don't need to become the expert on social. That's what my job is. That being said, we do talk about, I have a different approach in the Social Click for handling creating marketing strategies. It's so different. It's not just about like, here's how you do this platform, here's how you do this platform. We actually take a ton of strategic steps back and learn how to tackle a marketing ecosystem so that you can serve your clients based on the real needs and goals they have on their business. It's a different level of marketing. So if you've ever been in any of my programs, those are all very siloed. SMU teaches siloed social media. TikTok Academy teaches siloed TikTok. YouTube Academy teaches YouTube. But the Social Click, you get also not only all of my programs, but you also learn how to create an integrated marketing plan for all of those. Great question. Faith has been sassy for almost 60 years. I believe that and I love it. I think it's Kaylin says, so you don't work with startups or solopreneurs? I don't, unless they have a runway and budget, but I like to work with businesses that are established. That's my personal preference. Okay, I gotta drink some water. Okay. In case you are looking for the link to jump on in and schedule your one-on-one call directly with me, I will drop it right there for you guys. Let's dive on into more questions. Joy says, I'd love to be an example for widows like me. I think that would be amazing. One of my clients that I worked with one-on-one in our agency, she became a widow, and we went on to then create the biggest month of revenue ever the next month. I get emotional talking about that because, like, I told her, I don't know what kind of support you need right now. And she said, let's hit the ground running. I'm a single mom now, let's go. And so we literally, she had made in the past 6 figures per year. And then she made 6 figures the next month. And it was like 80 or 90,000 in profit. And it was one of my favorite moments ever. I think widows are so much more strong than people give them credit for. And I know it's a hard season. Terry says, experienced social media manager whose KPI list is now 5 pages and working over 100 hours per week for one company. That is exhausting. And Terry, I'm so sorry. That is so hard. Is it possible to transition without killing myself? I don't ever want to say something's impossible, but that may be a time for burn the boats and make it happen. Maybe you create a plan for just jumping, whether it's, set up your one-on-one call with me and we can talk about it. I would probably take 1 to 3 months creating the plan for the big leap and then make the leap, because that is very, very, very hard to work 100+ hours and be building another company. Ellie says, being a bilingual social media manager, a valuable expertise. It is, in that you can secure clients in multiple languages, but most clients don't post bilingual statuses necessarily. Big companies, it's super valuable. So you could get some bigger contracts for that. Lindsay says, do you teach us how to make great packages in the Social Click? I teach you everything in the Social Click. I hold nothing back there. KEM Evolution says, how to gain first client. My niche is food and beverage owners, and they are suffering now. How to show value so they can trust me with their dollars. This is why I don't recommend niching from the get-go. And it's because niching into food and beverage, if something like the pandemic happens, it's very, very difficult to it's difficult to get yourself out of that niche. I would serve a different audience for a while, because food and beverage owners, they're going to be lucky if they make it through this time. I'm just being honest, and I'm not a pessimist, but their profit margins are already so low. You want to look for businesses that can still run during a pandemic and lockdown, and businesses with decent profit margins. So great examples would be like online course providers, online coaches. You may want to work for online fitness influencers, people like that. SMM focusing SEO expert here. Awesome. Buddy to Learn said, what's the diff? What is the difference you want to know? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Let's see, Chloe says, I'm trying to book an appointment with you. However, they're not available until August. Oh my gosh, if you guys apply, it looks like you guys all booked for all of these. Let me just let my team know to open up a bunch for the next, we can open them up for the next couple of weeks, but apply and then we will reach out and get it scheduled. We have to open up my schedule though. That's so crazy. I'm gonna let my team know right now. Open up the appointments. Okay, I will let them know. Feel free to apply, and then booking the call, Kellyanne will reach out and get you scheduled. Sound good? I love it, and I can't wait to connect. I feel like that one's been a long time coming, Chloe. Mike says, I'm a fisherman, so that was a good analogy. Awesome, I love fishing too. I will say I haven't gone fishing since I went plant-based, but like last summer we went to Alaska and went salmon fishing, and it was a really powerful, eye-opening experience. All right, Mike says, is there a way to automate payments for clients? Absolutely, yes. Oh my gosh, there's several different ways to do this. Because my clients pay a lot, $5,500 to $12,500 per month, I always want invoices to be sent with a manual touch and make sure that it's like communicated really well. So we do a white glove approach with that. So I taught my husband how to handle invoicing and collection of invoices, but you can absolutely automate your invoices. You can do it with Stripe. You can do it with Stripe plus Wave. You can do it with Bill.com, all kinds of ways. Ruan says, going from 1,000 to 2,000, when can you do that? So once you've committed to a price point for one client, you don't ever want to raise it because that breaks the trust with that client. However, you just start quoting the next price as you're delivering results and working for clients and growing in your confidence. Steven says, can they be linked? Can what be linked? Facebook and Instagram? If that's the question, then yes. Nick says, Creator Studio. Oh, Later and Metricool cannot yet be linked. Not yet. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right, any other questions? Laura says, but until you got to charge so much, you also work long hours. In the meantime, you have more experience that you can use to charge so much more. Again, you need time to see results, and that is working hard. It totally depends on how you want to look at this. And I will say, I have one rule. You have to have a can-do attitude. I did work very hard. However, I found myself burnt out and unable to scale. And it wasn't until I started sleeping and getting time for hobbies and time off and clear boundaries with clients that I started being able to command high-ticket prices, like real high-ticket prices with no issue. Terry says, oh, I think we already answered this. Ellie says, is being a bilingual social media manager? Oh, I think we answered that. It might be Kari, C-A-R-I. How do you find companies that aren't startups, small businesses to work with? Are there certain sites, researching these companies on your own, or asking the right questions on your social media? There's a bunch of different ways to do it. I personally use like the tools that we have inside of the Social Click. There are some ways like that you can find those clients using like LinkedIn, Upwork, a bunch of different strategies. But I break down, we have a toolkit called the 100K toolkit inside of the Social Click that gives you all of the ways to secure high ticket clients from the very get-go. Lindsay says, how do you politely say no thanks to clients who don't fit your qualifications? This one's easy. thank you so much for your interest in working together. It's not a good fit at this time. And that could be for any reason. So I love this. We will send out a replay to you guys, just so you know. I love hanging out, answering all your questions. For those of you who are like, all right, I've spent some time with you. I want to get to know you better. I want to learn from you. This is my learning style. It's very integrated. It's full on, passionate, real. I don't have time for pretending to be anything other than exactly what I am. So I would love to see you guys booked out. And remember, if you can't actually schedule the call, Kellyanne will reach out if you apply, and then she'll get us scheduled on a one-on-one. So I have a feeling I'm gonna have a busy couple weeks. All right, let's see. What else? I want to make sure I don't miss. There's so many good questions. Oh, there's a lot. Okay. Joseph says, where can I watch this recording? It will be sent out to you. Crystal says, what's your best tip for finding the target market for your services? Become clear about the kind of person you want to work with, and not so much about the actual industry or business type, because that will throw you off for sure. Ashley said, when you started as a social media manager, which platforms were you focusing on? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Those are the 3 I started with. And then I really shifted it into things that generate an ROI. I don't think that an ROI conversation is appropriate at $1,000 or $2,000 per month, to be honest. The goals are very different at those price points. But now we focus on, is what we're doing actually driving the bottom line for the client? Good questions, guys. Mike Stover says, sometimes focusing on a niche can be paralyzing. Yes, it can feel like you're backed into a corner, which is why I've never done it. KEM Evolution says, do you display your pricing on your website? Never, don't do it. You are the kind of bottle of wine that the sommelier has to never say the pricing of. Does that make sense? If you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. I know that that sounds a little crazy and I'm being a little dramatic there, but it is one of those scenarios. Once you go high ticket, you're not someone that's like, if you can't, you're not going to want to work with people who can't even fathom it, if that makes sense. So love this, you guys. Okay, awesome. Toby says, I've just started and I'm struggling to secure a client. I went through the 1K in 10 days. I followed all the steps, but still haven't secured a client. There are definitely other tools. Not every single tool works for every single person every single time. I would go and get advice from SMU and see, or if you want, we can hop on a one-on-one call. If you're like, you know what, I don't want to try to figure it out myself. I want you to give me the specific steps and strategies that are going to work directly for me. If you want to do that, let's book a call and connect on those next steps. But otherwise, ask SMU for some support to look at your profile, look at the messages you're sending out. Paula V says, what are some big baits that can be used as a Facebook ad expert? I actually teach inside the Social Click what we call a CAM, or a client attraction machine. And that is the entire high ticket system that helps you to secure clients on autopilot all day, every day. Those can be the best without a doubt. So the client attraction machine is my favorite. Dana says, I love how the platforms work, but I feel like my strategy skills are inadequate. What are the best places to learn those skills? Inside of the Social Click, I would plug you right into the marketing ecosystem training, dive into advanced strategies for digital marketing for clients. Oh my gosh, you would love it. I get so excited for you. So if you want to jump on in, there is the link to schedule a one-on-one call. I have a feeling that you could just so easily plug what you know into the marketing ecosystem and advanced marketing strategies trainings that we have. Love it, love it. Okay, let's see. What other questions do you guys have? Let's see. We've got about 8 more minutes, so we can go for 8 more. Are we doing good? We doing good, guys? I want to make sure I get to as many questions as I can. Do you have a book list? I do. I have so many books that I love. Let me grab just a basic list. I know I've got one in my YouTube bios. So these are some of my favorite books, although this updates a lot. So I think this should be able to send. There's my book list. I'm obsessed with those books. And then there's more that have made it. Okay. Chloe, we'll make sure that you get the time set up with Kellyanne after this. All right. I don't want to miss any questions. I got so many. Okay. Angela says, my daughter had a few videos go viral on TikTok to help with newfound fame and how to work with it. No, I don't work directly with influencers, but if someone inside of the social clique is working with an influencer, I'll break down the strategies that I would use, but that is not a core part of my program. Does that make sense? I want that to be super clear. I don't work with influencers who want to learn how to monetize their platform. I work with people who want to work with clients. But if someone is working with a client who's looking for the strategy, I will teach you the strategies without a doubt. Sophia says, what can you say about the hype of funnel building? It is amazing and powerful and a great way to make revenue. I would jump on in, especially if you have an eye for any kind of like copy or design, depends on which parts of it you want to offer. Kitty and Leonard and Faith inside of the clique offer those skills, and you would be among some of the greats, like the real greats, if you jump on into the clique. So book the call, let's connect, and let's see if it's a good fit for you. April says, I don't feel it necessary to charge what others are charging for virtual event producing, $3,500 per event. My top end package is $2,000 per month. These numbers get me and my family to success, but I've gotten feedback that my price is unbelievable. As someone who hosts virtual events, I would struggle with believing that your work was quality at $2,000. I'm just being honest about that. With credible and established businesses, sometimes you want to make sure that your pricing is higher so it seems like a real valuable quality expert level service. So it does sound too high. I would just literally start with adding 30%, then add 50%, then double it. That's what I would do. Okay. Megan says, I have 7 kids. I'm trying to figure out how to balance work life while I'm making enough time to support my family. Can Click help me to figure out how to model my agency to balance my time? Yes, as long as you have set time that you can work. It doesn't have to be 40, 50 hours a week. It could be 20 or 30 if maybe making 2, 3, 4K per month is a blessing, if that makes sense. So yeah, Megan, we totally dive into your business by design that is modeled around your life. We also dive into time management secrets, time blocking, becoming effective, your 3 core priorities. That is all going to support you in building a business that works on your own terms, just like Mary has. Laurel says, I feel frozen with updating my own social media. I keep thinking if I can't have a good profile, my clients won't work with me. What do you think about this? Oh my gosh, the cobbler's family always has the worst shoes. This is like a known fact, and it's so crazy. It is very difficult to keep yourself fully up to date when you're focused on your clients. I don't think that that's necessary, but it can be a helpful part of showing clients like I'm active, even though it's not a correlation. You having a great social media presence is not a direct correlation to being able to serve your clients. Does that make sense? Calvin says, has YouTube Academy been launched? It has. If you want to learn more about it, if you're like, I was already considering jumping on into the booking a call, go ahead and book the call, because those who jump on into the click are going to get that program included. Or else you can go to, I think it is rachelsyoutube.academy.com, I think it is. Hold on. I gotta double check that. No, send us an email and we will get you the link. I don't know why I can't think of it right now. All right, we've got about 4 more questions. Is there another skill that I need to learn in order to make my website convert? There's a lot. You'll never want to stop learning how to make stuff convert. You want to learn copy. You want to learn the art of traffic. You want to learn the art of attracting people with your message. You want to learn so much. Building a list, nurturing your list. The advanced systems that I teach are what I would focus on, because just saying like making a WordPress website convert isn't quite enough. You want to have a thorough understanding of how marketing all comes together. Whew. Tamara says, did you chat about the best ways to hire a team? I've tried many times and it always seems to go sour. Inside of the click, without a doubt, I talk about this quite a bit, and I teach not only how to find talent, but how to hire talent, onboard talent, have the right expectations, communication. organization, and documentation. And those are the systems that you need in order to make sure your hires go well. Gail says, can we have a reply, please? Hi. I'm not answering the questions inside of the Q&A box, so I'm answering all the questions in the chat. But we have 2 more minutes left. Larissa says, how do you know if you're personally ready for this next step? Do you have to be at a certain place in your business? Tell you what, well, also because I know you personally, apply, and if it's not the right timing, we will make sure that we don't give you the offer for the next step. Does that make sense? I do not like giving people a next step option if it's not the right timing. So I look out for people. If it's not that timing, we won't offer it. Sound good? All right, 2 more minutes. My voice is so tired, you guys. It's good though, it's good. Brittany says, I'm starting to make more than my full-time job, but I'm not sure when is the best time to transition to full-time business. I would go ahead and book a call with me, and we can dive into your plan and see, is it the right time now? Is it time for you to go all in? All right, since we have 1 minute left, you guys, I'm gonna let you all go. Go have an amazing day. Let me know in the chat if you enjoyed this today. I loved spending time with you guys. Hopefully you all had some big shifts in your beliefs and your understanding. I will catch you guys later. Bye everyone. Thank you so much.